Boker Tov L'Kulam. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Boker Tov.
Boker Tov.
It's so nice to see everyone, and I am going to today talk about something which is very, very important and very special for so many people, because today I'd like to talk about firsts. Whenever we think about the first time we ever do something, we know it's usually extremely special. It's something that we don't forget. It has a lot of meaning. For example, if we think about, let's say, a little baby, the very first time they take their very first step, it's very special. If you ask any parent, what was the first word that I said when I was a child? What was my first word? Most of the time people remember that because it's so important and so special. Firsts are always unique. Going to our first day of school, maybe our first tooth, or maybe the first tooth that we lost. And of course, for those that could look outside, the very first time that it snows. So therefore, when we think about all of the mitzvot, and there are a lot, 613 to be exact, one would probably say that the first mitzvah that the Jewish people would be introduced to must be unbelievably important. So important and so special. Now, I'm not going to do this, but we can kind of in our imagination think about if you would be the one given the chance to come up with the first mitzvah. You probably want to pick an important one. Maybe you would pick Shabbat. You would pick Kibbud Av V'Em, honoring your parents, learning Torah. There's so many things that would make sense. Now, unless you know the answer already, you probably would never guess what the first mitzvah was that the Jewish people received. And believe it or not, and I'll just say a few words in this week's Parshat, Parshat Bo, HaChodesh Hazel Lachem Rosh Chodashim. The very first mitzvah that the Jewish people received while they were still in Mitzrayim, when they were still in Egypt, was, I want you to do something. Make sure you're all sitting down over here. Okay, you ready for this one? I want you to make a Jewish calendar. What? Yeah, that's right. I want you to make a Jewish calendar. I want you every month to look up in the sky and to see when there will be a new moon. And when you see that new moon, I want you to run, don't walk, to your local court, to your Beit Din, and testify and say, I saw the new moon. And they say, okay, today is Rosh Chodesh. Today is a new month. And they write it down, and because of that, they'll be able to know what day of the year it is, what time it is, what week it'll be, what month it'll be. Now, again, that probably is an important mitzvah. I mean, it must be. But it's hard to imagine that would be the first mitzvah that they should get. Now, if anyone wants to look this up, because you may say, come on, are you really telling me, is this true? Is this really the first mitzvah? So if you actually look at the first Rashi in the entire Torah, in Parshat Breshit, it actually says that in this week's Parsha, HaChodesh Hazel Lachem, what I just mentioned, is the first mitzvah. If you want, you can look it up and let me know when I see you next whether or not you found it there. But it is true. The question is why? Why would this be the first? And we have to imagine what it would have been to have been a slave. What a horrible, horrible thing to ever mistreat any person. We always have to be nice to everyone. I think the opposite of that is making someone into a slave. The Jewish people, as we all know, when we were in Mitzrayim, we worked very, very hard. We worked day and night. We never had a break. We didn't have snow days. We didn't have vacations. There was no summer break. They worked nonstop. And when you are a slave, in addition to having to work day and night, you also don't really have the ability to do anything that you want, which means you are not in control over time. Time is something which you have no mastery over. If you want to wake up a little late one day, you want to go swimming one day, you want to do something that you enjoy, go for a walk, I'm just going to take an hour off here or there. No. When it comes to being a slave, you have no ability to control your time. Your master's in control. Your master tells you the time to sleep. Your master tells you the time to eat. And therefore, when we were to become free, the very first message that Hashem wanted to teach us is that now that you are no longer a slave, you are a master of your own time. You're in control of how you want to spend your day. You're in control of what to do during that time. And therefore, the message is when you now are given this gift of time, use that gift wisely. I'm reminded of a story. There was once a boy, maybe it wasn't the boy, who was getting married, and his father said, I have a very special gift to give you. And he's like, oh, it's amazing. I can't wait. I wonder what my dad's giving me for a wedding present. Maybe a Porsche. I don't know. A PlayStation. I don't know. Whatever was going through this guy's mind. It was in a little box. And he wrapped it. It was all wrapped beautifully. He ripped all the wrapping paper off. And he opened it up. And he pulled it out. He looked at it. He couldn't believe it. He said, Dad, what is this? He said, what do you mean? It's a watch. I'm like, oh, thank you. So that's so nice. I never had a watch before, actually, and it'll be useful. But why did you get me? And the father said, by the way, it's not just a regular watch. It's a gold watch. It's a golden watch. Dad, I can't thank you enough for this beautiful gift. But why did you choose to give me this gift of any other gift in the world? And the father looked at the son and said, I want to tell you that every time you look at your wrist and you have this on your wrist and you look at the time, I want you to realize that time is golden. Time is like gold. Time is valuable and very important. And that's what Hashem did by giving us this very first mitzvah. Figure out what month it is. Figure out what day it is. We want to make sure that you know exactly the importance of time. And I'd like to conclude with the following poem, if you will. Imagine there's a bank that credits you $86,400 every single day. Whoa, it's a lot of money. However, there's a catch. Yes, you're going to be getting $86,400 every single day. As soon as you wake up, you look and you put in the code and your password. Hopefully the password isn't password. That's an easy one. I learned that from mistakes. Anyway, and you put in your password, and it says $86,400. But the catch is that those $86,400, at the end of the day, they're gone. You lose all that money if you don't spend it. So what would you do? Would you just keep it in that account? Of course not. You would probably spend every single penny. You would use it. Every single dollar is precious because those 86,400 of them are only here for that one day. And then after that day is gone, that 86,400 is gone. So on this, the poem tells us that there's something else that's 86,400. The amount of seconds in a 24-hour day. And every single day when we wake up, we are given, just like that bank, a gift. And that gift is $86,400 or 86,400 seconds. And we have the ability to use every second, just like the Jewish people were supposed to. And they did. To use it properly. And to realize that every single second is a gift. To realize the value of 1 week, we have to realize the value of every moment. But even to realize the value of 1 week, ask the editor of a weekly newspaper. To realize the value of 1 day, ask a daily wage laborer with kids to feed. To realize the value of 1 hour, ask people who are waiting to meet. To realize the value of 1 minute, ask a person who missed the train. To realize the value of 1 second, ask a person who just avoided an accident. And to realize the value of 1 millisecond, ask the person who won a silver medal in the Olympics. So in this I conclude, treasure every moment that you have, and treasure it more because you shared it with someone special enough to spend your time. And remember that time waits for no one. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow, a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Shabbat Shalom.